transported from Davidson County to Cheatham County, and that's when Judge Locker let me back out. So again, those are the two times I missed court. I missed court, but I could not get myself here physically. I was in the confines of another institution.
This is a motion to reinstate bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
Before we take it up, let me just recite a history of this case. The case originated in January of 2023. And at that point in time, he appeared on January the 9th of 2023, and it was shown that he was to hire an attorney, and his attorney status was set for March 17th of 2023. His trial date was set for May the 11th of 2023. On March the 17th of 2023, attorney Barry Guerin appeared, and the defendant was working on retaining Mr. Guerin. May 8th of 2023, the defendant had not retained an attorney, but he could afford to hire one. So we reset, whoever the judge was, reset it for May 30th of 2023. May 30th of 2023, the defendant has not retained an attorney, but he's been talking to S.S. Richards due to cost of an original attorney he was talking with. His attorney status was reset again for September the 11th of 2023. His last day to enter a plea was then set for October 1st of 2023. Trial date was set for November the 7th of 2023. On September the 11th, the waiver of appearance was filed by attorney S.S. Richards. On October the 31st, the defendant and his attorney, neither one appeared. It was set for trial on November the 7th of 2023. November the 7th of 2023, the defendant did not appear. Capias was issued. No bond was set. Sara facie was issued to the bonding company. We then moved to November the 28th. His bond was reinstated. It was reset from May the 11th of 2024 for a last day to enter a plea, May 20th of 24 for a trial. And he was ordered as a condition of his bond to not pick up any new charges and to keep in contact with his attorney. That was based on a motion filed to reinstate his bond. On April the 29th of 2024, it was reset the May 11th plea hearing to correct the date of May 13th. And it was Mr. Richards was notified, his attorney was notified of the correct date and time, and the trial date remained the same. On April the 26th of 2024, there was a notice to seek an enhanced punishment and impeachment filed by the state. On May 13th of 2024, there was it was reset for 11/12 of 24 for a last day to enter a plea, and November the 13th of 2024 for a trial. As again, a condition was to keep in contact with his attorney. October the 21st of 2024, motion to withdraw filed by attorney S.S. Richards, and that was set for November the 12th of 2024. On November the 12th of 2024, the motion was granted. Bond was revoked due to no contact with his attorney. There was date set of January the 7th of 2025 to be set and appointed the public defender. January the 6th of 2025, a motion to reinstate was filed by Jake Lockhart, set for hearing on January 7th of 2025. Motion to waive allowing Judge Lockhart Mash to hear the bond, the motion was denied, and it was set for February the 4th of 2025 to be set. On January 15th of 2025, there was a substitution of counsel filed, and Jake Lockhart was substituted for the public defender. February the 6th of 2025, a motion for discovery was filed. February the 18th, a motion to be released on the original bond filed by Jake Lockhart, attorney, set for March the 11th of 2025. March the 11th, 2025, a motion hearing heard by Judge Wolf. Motion granted to reinstate the bond. That was after hearing witnesses from Tanny Willis, Mr. Lockhart, and Mr. Vaughn. The final plea date was July the 8th of 2025. trial date of July 17th. July the 8th, defendant did not appear. Attorney stated defendant thought he did not have to appear. Judge Wolf placed on July 22nd, 2025. The defense did not have full discovery until late. The trial something was repeated. July 22nd of 2025, a date of November the 10th, 2025 was set for final plea, the trial date to be set till November the 10th, 2025. Guess what? Defendant failed to appear. Conditional forfeiture of his bond, $100,000 new bond set. Final forfeiture was set for May 15th. And on November the 13th, the motion to reinstate bond was filed and set for today's hearing. That is the history of this case. I will be glad to hear anything you wish to say, Mr. Lockhart.
First, John, just briefly in regard to the court's reading of the history, the failure to appear that Judge Lockhart Mash had issued, if the court recalls, Mr. Vaughn and I and others saw the defendant in court that day, but Judge Lockhart Mash told me I was mistaken, that he was not. His attorney had stated he had received calls and text messages from a T. Willis, but he didn't know that was Tannen Willis. And because of those factors, the court did set that aside. In regard to today, the proof will show that the defendant was in a car wreck. We have medical documentation. He was being treated for concussion and post-concussion syndrome. He will testify that he knew he had court sometime in November. He called the clerk's office the day after court, I think, last week, and was advised that his court date had been the day before. So he then contacted me, and we have the medical documentation. So I'd like to put him on, let him testify in regard to the concussion.
You call your client to the stand. Raise your right hand and be placed under oath.
If you would state your full name for the court.
Tannen Edward Willis Jr.
And Mr. Willis, did you contact the clerk's office this past week to ask when your court date in November was?
I did. I contacted her about 8 in the 8 o'clock hour. I contacted her in the 8 o'clock hour on November 12th, Wednesday, because I was under the impression that it was the morning I had to appear in court.
All right. And I'll ask you, previous in October, were you in an accident?
I was in a car wreck on the interstate on October 19th of 2025.
Did you receive injuries in that accident?
I received a head injury and a mild concussion.
And were you being treated for that?
I was because my CTE, my CAT scan was negative, but I was told by the medical examiner that did it, and other like tests that I had a mild concussion and to rest, take medicine, avoid get away from rooms with my children, loud noises, and so I could work on it and recover.
And did you have a follow-up visit in regard to your concussion?
I did.
Syndrome this past week?
Yes, I had a follow-up because I went and the doctors confirmed that the symptoms that I was causing and were due to the concussion I had suffered.
May I approach?
You may.
Are these the records where you were treated for the concussion from the car wreck?
Yes.
Some of those are front and back, is that correct?
Yes, one of them are.
Your Honor, I move this as a collective exhibit. Number one, I'd like to object, and two, I'd like to see them. Well, I was handing them to him.
You want to see them and then object, or object and then see them?
both. I mean, for all I know, this crumbled up mess, not authenticated properly. I mean, he can testify about his car wreck and stuff, but I don't think that's proper to put him in an exhibit.
All
The
right.
objection is to proper authentication of the documents. What are the documents exactly?
Medical records, showing he was a patient at TriStar Centennial being treated for concussion. Shows his follow-up visit this past week being treated for, the concussion. And I would submit in the nature of a bond hearing, these type things are admitted all the time. The rules are somewhat relaxed.
I'll overrule the objection, allow it to be introduced for the purpose of showing what action action he did not take. Collective Exhibit 1.
Not that it's completely relevant, but up until you had that accident, were you calling me multiple times?
Yeah, we were in discussion with my case, and if I may speak freely, Your Honor,
Just respond to my question. I don't like when you speak freely. I don't know what you're going to say.
Yes, Jake, we were in constant communication.
And if there are concerns from the state that you're faking a concussion or forging instruments, that type thing, can you tell the court that you really were in the accident?
Yes, I really do. I would like to object to the counsel's.
No. Please respond to my questions.
Yes, I was. Those papers are authenticated. That's what I was going to say, Your Honor. They were discharge papers.
I'm not asking you if they were authenticated.
Oh.
Just answer my question. Were you really in an accident?
Was.
Did TriStar really treat you for a concussion? And did you have a follow-up for the concussions, post-concussion syndrome?
They did.
And on that follow-up, did they even limit you then as to what you could do for a couple of days?
They did.
So you're not making any of that up.
No, I am.
And because of that, you forgot exactly what court date in November you had.
Did.
That's all. One other question. If the court sees fit, would you wear a GPS monitor to make sure they know where you're at and that you're coming to court? And if you don't, where you're at?
Yes.
That's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
So you had this wreck on October 19th.
I was in the wreck on October 19th.
Where's that at? Where was your wreck?
Interstate in Nashville. I don't really know the interstate route, but it was on the interstate in Nashville.
Okay. Did police come out?
I don't really recall. I woke up in the hospital.
But they would, if the police were called, there should be a police report.
I can't recall that. I don't know.
Well, you thought enough to get your medical records. You didn't think to get a police report proving you had a wreck?
Well, the records were given to me when I was discharged.
I understand that. But you thought enough to bring these records, but you didn't think to even
I was
see if there's a
instructed
police
by my
report.
attorney to bring those, and they were
Yep.
given to me when I left the hospital.
I know where you got them supposedly. I'm asking, you thought to bring them. Why didn't you think to ask you or your attorney to go see if there was a police report from the incident?
Attorney instructed you.
I'm not asking about those.
It's cross-examination. He's asking him if he thought to get these, why didn't he get the copy of the accident report? He can answer whether he thought about it or his attorney did or did not tell him to do so.
Yes.
Overruled.
Why didn't you think to get the police report?
Because my attorney didn't tell me to.
He didn't tell you to.
No.
Did your attorney tell you to go to your follow-up appointments?
Yeah.
Did anybody tell you to go to your follow-up appointments? I'll withdraw the question.
The objection is what?
He was asking things that I told him or discussed with him.
All right. Let's stay away from
I understand.
asking about attorney-client
I
conversations.
understand. Did anybody have to tell you to go to your follow-up concussion appointments?
Yes, people did.
Who? Not anybody but your lawyer.
My brother, my fiance, my
Okay.
children.
Why can you seem to make it to your follow-up doctor's appointments, but you can't seem to make it to court?
I can make it to court. I have made it to court. Before
you-
court has started, I was under the impression, due to I suffered a concussion, that the 12th was my court date. I didn't make this up. This didn't come from thin air. If you recall, Your Honor read the court. I appeared in court last year on November 12th. I also have been dealing with other silver paperwork recently, where I'm constantly writing about what happened on November 12th in this courtroom last year. So these traumatic events with me suffering a concussion is what would have caused me to think I was to appear on November 12th again.
But you said you called last Wednesday,
That was November 12th.
okay? But you said you thought you had court that day.
I called before court started. I talked to her in the 8 o'clock a.m. hour. So if I were to appear in court that morning, I would have made it.
But if this has been such a problem before, why did you wait till the day of court to see if you had court?
I didn't wait till the day of court to see if I had court. I suffered a concussion. I've been taking medicine. I've been doing other things, counsel.
But you suffered your concussion in October 19th,
Yes,
and you've been unconscious since then?
I don't.
That's why I'm asking.
That's why he's asking.
Well, that was not a symptom of my concussion, unconsciousness.
Okay, so from October 19th up until last Wednesday, you didn't think to call to check when your court date was, since it's been such a problem in the past?
I mean, it hasn't really been a problem, and
You've had your bond revoked twice.
one was unrighteously, which is why Judge Roof overturned it.
Okay, what about the other one?
The other one, my bond wasn't revoked. I was incarcerated. I've never been free and not appeared.
And then you've been late a lot. too.
Late and not appearing is two different things.
But there still seemed to be a problem with you getting here on time or getting here at all.
I mean, record will show that I have never been free and not appeared in court other than I was suffered a concussion, which I have the proof for.
So all these times you haven't shown up, it's just not your fault. You just got, let me get this straight. You got too much going on. You're in and out of jail all the time. You don't call ahead of time, and now you got a concussion.
Okay, you make accusations that are not factual.
I'm repeating what you said.
I did not say that.
Cross-examination. The,
The two things,
sustain the objection as to argumentative. Restate your question.
What can you tell this court to say you're going to come to court? The state, me, I've been trying to get your case to trial for 2 years, and you seem to not want to participate.
well, that is not true. I will answer your question directly. I can tell the court, as facts will show, the two times Your Honor read the history of the court, and the September 11th, 2023 date. I don't know why Sharif Richard waived my appearance. I'm not an attorney. I didn't waive it. The October date in September 23, in October 2023, pardon me, I was incarcerated in Davidson County. The November date, I was transported from Davidson County to Cheatham County, and that's when Judge Locker let me back out. So again, those are the two times I missed court. I missed court, but I could not get myself here physically. I was in the confines of another institution. So when I just missed the other FTA he read about last year, as we know, as Your Honorable Judge Wolf overturned Suzanne's Lockard-Mass ruling because she said I had an FTA, which was unlawful. That, again, so am I responsible for that? I don't think so. Now, this FTA, I did suffer a concussion. I did contact the court clerk on the day I thought I was appeared to be here. I suffered a concussion. I did not have the card. I didn't even have my phone from the car wreck to contact Mr. Lockard. So once I did find out that the court clerk advised me, you had missed court, it was Monday. It was a holiday in between the days. November 10th was Monday. The 11th, I could not call. When I did realize, if I had court on the 10th, courts was closed, it was Veterans Day. The morning of the 12th was the next open day. You know, it's factorial. Last Tuesday.
There's a whole YouTube video of the 10th. We were here.
No, the 10th was Monday. The day following that was Veterans Day. Meaning
Correct.
I couldn't. Okay, so Wednesday was the next business day. I contacted her at 8 a.m. that morning because I do have people that care. Hey, you got court coming up. You got to recover. Okay, I called her. She told me I missed court. I immediately contacted my attorney.
Why wouldn't you do that beforehand when you had your concussion so he could tell the court that? Because when he was here on the 10th, nobody knew where you were.
During this time, I was recovering, and I don't I don't understand. I'm under the impression that I was to appear on November 12th, 2025. Me having a concussion would have been heard then, or it really,
You have 6 prior felonies. You know this procedure.
I've never had a concussion, sir.
Okay. But you've been in and out of being charged. You know to come to court. Or at least tell somebody you're sick, right? You've been through this before.
Never suffered a concussion. So I don't know
Nothing.
what to do when, like, yeah, I can't prepare for that.
Is any of this your fault?
I mean, it's my fault that I'm in this situation and I have this case. Absolutely.
I don't have any other question.
Do you work,
I was working before I had the car wreck. Yes, sir.
you worked before the car wreck?
Yes, sir.
Haven't worked since?
It's been like close to a month since I had my
Did you
post.
did you read these papers that you submitted to
Yeah.
see what the recommendations were?
I came with a lot of papers, but I mean, they just told me Tylenol, Motrin, avoid loud noises.
Now, for example, did you see how long you were supposed to stay off from work after this supposed concussion?
Oh yeah, the one on the recent, it was 1 to 2 days.
1 or 2 days.
Yes.
And that was October. So as of October the 21st, you would have been free to go back to work.
I mean, yes, I worked with my sister, Michaela's party rentals, and I was
1 to 2 days was last week, they told him to stay off 1 to 2 days, that was the fall. It was not October. I think November the 12th, it shows the follow-up for concussion, and it says 1 to 2 days.
All right. Anything else for this witness?
This is one more question. You've been asked a lot of questions about what you should do, why you didn't do this, why you didn't do that. You don't even remember the accident,
I don't remember.
anything about it. You woke up in the hospital.
Yes.
And because of the concussion, that you still being treated for is as late as this past week when they still put you in restrictions. You did not remember that you had a court date last month. That's all the questions on
If I heard you right, when he was asking you questions the first time, you said you've been in constant contact with him. Don't need to know what you said, but you've been in constant contact with him since the last court date.
Prior to the car wreck, yes.
And you never came up to come here on the 10th? You've been in constant contact with your lawyer and you just don't know your court date.
I had a concussion and I lost my memory.
Last court date was in July.
And I had suffered.
They give you a card. You have a lawyer. You did not know your court date.
My court date was in July to November.
it. He's answered it. Did you get
Step down.
nothing about it?
Step down. Block, do you have any other witnesses?
No, you're not.
Do you have any proof? This court read the record out because one of the conditions of the multiple times this case has been this bond has been reinstated were that he stay in contact with his attorney, and the court has listened to the excuse this go around. I'm the one who reinstated his bond back in March after Judge Lockhart Mash revoked it because she said he didn't show up for court, and I accepted the explanation that was given at that time and I reinstated it. He may have had a car wreck. He may have been treated for a possible concussion, but there's no indication in any of these medical records that indicate that he was not a competent individual or that he could not have stayed in touch with his attorney or that he could not have appeared on the date for the court hearing. So the court denies the motion to reinstate the bond. He is in custody until he makes the new bond of $100,000, which is set by this court on November the 10th.